What's up, everybody? Welcome back to No Fakin Sports. I'm your host, David Kincade, and I want to talk about the college football rankings. Okay, the AP poll, they released it, so I want to get into that, and I'm going to start at the top and go down to number one. We're going to start at number 8 because that's where my Oklahoma Sooners are, and everything after that, I really don't care. I care about what's in front of me. So we're going to start with the Oklahoma Sooners at number 8, at 8-2. Oklahoma is coming off a very important road win against Alabama, in which they won 23-21. Regardless of how the game went, ugly turnovers, not much offense, whatever it was, at the end of the day, a win is a win. There later on, it's not going to be 8-2, but the win against such and such was ugly. We got the job done on the road in a hostile environment in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Everything against us, national media, everything. We got the job done. So going forward, Oklahoma has Missouri at home and then LSU at home. If they take care of business, Oklahoma's in. With everybody predicting 6-7 record, 7-6 record, whatever it was, and talking about the schedule, I don't give a damn about the schedule. Football players go play football. That's what they do. Regardless of the schedule and what everybody else feels better than us and all that, because they felt LSU was better than us. They felt Missouri was better than us. Those teams we got next 2 weeks, they're not even ranked. So give a damn about the schedule. Now, we did lose to Ole Miss. We did lose to Texas. We have a chance to rectify that for the rest of the season by beating these next two teams, getting a playoff berth, because Texas won't be there. We're not even going to talk about them, but they have to play Texas A&M next. And they just got spanked by Georgia. I actually said previously that Texas was going to end up with 4 losses. So that is the Oklahoma Sooners. They should be pretty much a shoe-in for the playoff unless there's just a catastrophic failure by the offense, because we know what the defense does. Number 7, Texas Tech. The Red Raiders. The Red Raiders spent a lot of money on this roster. And I remember saying that this team has to win. Whenever you put a lot of money towards NIL and roster like that, they want results now. And with a 10-1 record, they're getting the results that they wanted. They do have that one lone loss against Arizona State, which they lost 26-22 at Arizona State. But they were without their quarterback as well. Their quarterback has been back, and they have been right back to doing everything that they were doing in the last 4 games, 48-9 UCF. They beat number 7 BYU 29-27, 43-20 at Kansas, and then 42-0 against Oklahoma State. This team is rolling. Texas Tech is a tough football team, and this ain't Grandpa's Texas Tech team. Rest in peace, Mike Leach. This is not his team. This team runs the football. They get after it. And I like how they run the football. I wish we could steal their offensive coordinator or whoever calling they plays and bring them to OU. Wherever you got him from, is there more? Because if our defense had this run game, this offense, we'd be undefeated. But they're doing a hell of a job down there in Lubbock. Number 6, you got the Oregon Ducks. They're sitting there with 1 loss. They're 9-1. With their only loss being the Indiana. We're going to get to Indiana later. One of the more potent offenses in college football right now, and defenses as far as a combined unit. The Oregon Ducks are going to have to play USC next and then at Washington. They miss out on Michigan and Ohio State. Okay, so they might be in. I don't know. USC is trying to get in. USC is sitting there at 8-2. This is going to be a pivotal game for the Oregon Ducks. Do they get in? I don't know. Do they beat USC? I don't know. That's a tough call. Who's going to run the football more? Dan Lanning is doing a hell of a job down there with that program. They're consistently winning. His job's not going anywhere. They got a great young quarterback that is going to lead them this year and next year. So the Oregon Ducks at number 6. Number 5, the 10-1 Ole Miss Rebels. Now, they beat my Sooners convincingly. Okay? 34-26. Their only loss on the season was a 43-35 loss at Georgia. This is a good football team. Offensively, they've had their woes defensively, but they're not terrible. Now, they just beat Florida convincingly. Next, they got at Mississippi State. They'll win that game. Mississippi State they're terrible. Okay? They're not even in the conversation. But Ole Miss is going to be a tough catch in that first round. They're going to be a problem. So, they're in. Regardless of whatever's going on for the rest of the season, this is a team that is in the playoffs. The Ole Miss Rebels led by Lane Kiffin. Do they play in the SEC championship? We'll see. Number 4, the team that beat the number 5 team, but lost to the Alabama Crimson Tide, who we just beat in their house, the Georgia Bulldogs. They lost to Alabama 24-21. And I had talked about this game before. I felt if they would have had about 8 to 10 more rushes, they'd probably beat Alabama in that game. But they didn't. They are coming off a win at home against Texas, in which they beat off Texas 35-10. Love to see it. Even though we lost to Texas, it still feels good to see somebody thump them. Okay? Texas will end up with 4 losses. Like I said before, they're not in. Georgia has Charlotte, and then they got Georgia Tech. That Georgia Tech game is going to be a good game. Georgia Tech is a team that runs the football. That is going to be one of the best rivalry games of the year. Dare I say Georgia Tech pulls it off? I don't know. But if they lose to Georgia Tech and lose the SEC championship game, do they still get in? So the season isn't really in the bag for Georgia yet. We're going to find out. Number 3, 10-0 Texas A&M. They are coming off an impressive win against South Carolina, in which they had to come all the way back from 30-3. I was watching the game. South Carolina was running the football, and Texas A&M was making mistakes. But Marcel Reed came back out in the second half, and he played like he had made any mistakes. That's what you want out of your quarterback. Short-term memory, get to the next play. Fight for the next score. And they fought all the way back and won that game by 1 point. South Carolina might be firing their head coach. They do not have a good record this year. And after that debacle, after you let a team come out from a 27-point deficit in 2 quarters, in which you did nothing in the second half, you didn't even get a field goal, Shane Beamer might be going at South Carolina. But Texas A&M looks tough, man. They keep their undefeated season alive. They're in the playoffs. They're there. They got Samford, and then they got at Texas. They beat Texas. It's going to be another good rivalry game. I think that they take care of business, beat Texas. Marcel Reed wins the Heisman. And they're going to play in the SEC championship game against Georgia. And we'll see who wins that game. If Texas A&M can go into the playoffs, get that bye, being undefeated, all that good stuff. Texas A&M spending the money, Great coaching staff, man. Mike Elko is doing a job coming over from Duke. This is what they needed. I had made a little short where I was saying I want the players to come tell me why the hell they keep going to Texas A&M. If you had Texas A&M, you made a good damn choice. Number 2, Indiana, 11-0. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Outside of Oklahoma, I love this team for this year. Anyway, not that I'm an Indiana fan, but I love the way that they approach game in and game out, running the football, getting tough wins. Let me kind of read some of these to you. They beat number 9 in Illinois when Illinois was number 9 at the time, 63-10. They beat Oregon 30-20. That's 2 scores. Now they did have a tough game against Penn State. Penn State was playing inspired, and it was at Penn State. But they got the job done. They found a way to go and get a win at Penn State. This is a good football team, man. This is a good coaching staff. They run the hell out of the football. They are ranked in the top as far as offense and defense. This is a recipe for a national championship. They should be in the national championship game. We're going to see in the Big Ten championship comes, does Ohio State play them or does Ohio State lose to Michigan again? And then they'll play Michigan. But this is a good football team here, guys. They only got at Purdue left. They're not faltering there. This is going to be an undefeated season for the Indiana Hoosiers. They will be in the playoffs. They will be in the Big Ten championship game. Last but not least, Ohio State. Ohio State got the job done early in the year against Texas to open the season. And then they continue to be dominant throughout their schedule. Against Illinois, 34-16. Against Wisconsin, 34-0. Against Penn State, 38-14. Last week against UCLA, 48-10. This is a dominant football team. Quietly going about their business. There's not many people talking about Julian Sand in Ohio State. They say, oh, yeah, they won again. It seems to be getting boring. But they're just going about their business while everybody else is shuffling for second place. Because this is the defending champs, and they look like it. They look like they're about to run it back to back like Georgia did. This is going to be a hard football team to beat. And they lost a lot of people. They still have the number 1 wide receiver in the nation. And they still got a good defense. And they're still running the football. Even though Chip Kelly left, they're still running the football. And this is a good football team. But at the end of the day, man, can you beat Michigan? You ain't beat Michigan since 2019. You can dominate everybody else, but can you beat Michigan? And they're at Michigan. We beat them. Boomer. That's all I got, guys. Drop down in the comments. Out of those teams that I mentioned, who is your team? And how do you think they'll fare in the playoffs? I think the Oklahoma Sooners will get into the playoffs. And after that, I don't know. I don't know, man. My offensive coordinator is so inconsistent. It's ridiculous. That's all I got for y'all. Till next time. Peace.